Hello, first grade friends. It's Mrs. Verace. I am so excited to be a reader in your Google Classroom today. So, I usually like to read outside when I'm doing these kind of videos, but it's raining outside today. So if you hear my dog barking, or if you hear my teenagers talking, or my husband's also working from home and you might hear him moving around, try to stay focused on the book. Am I reading? Just like you do in the STEM lab when the 3D printers are going or the Tower Garden water turns on in the Tower Gardens. You stay focused on my reading or whatever I'm telling you. I'm super excited to read this book to you because it's a book I used to read to my kids when they were little. And it reminds me of when my relatives come and visit me because I'm not from Long Island, so my family comes and visits me a lot. And since they can't visit me right now because we all have to be in our homes, it makes me get excited about when the times change again and they get to come and visit me again. So this is called The Relatives Came. Maybe as I read about it, you all can think of some things that you're looking forward of doing when the times change again too. It was the summer of the year when the relatives came. They came up from Virginia. They left their grapes when they were nearly purple enough to pick, but not quite. They had an old station wagon that smelled like a real car, and in it they put an ice chest full of soda pop and some boxes of crackers and some bologna sandwiches, and up they came from Virginia. They left at 4 a.m. when it was still dark, but before even the birds were awake. They drove all day long and into the night, and while they traveled along, they looked at the strange houses and different mountains, and they thought about their almost purple grapes back home. They thought about Virginia, but they thought about us too, waiting for them. So they drank up all their soda pop and ate up all their crackers and traveled up those miles until finally they pulled into our yard. That's what I do. When my family pulls up, I go run out and meet them. Then it was hugging time. Talk about hugging. Those relatives just passed us all around their car, pulling us against their wrinkled Virginia clothes, crying sometimes. They hugged us for hours. Then it was into the house and so much laughing and shining faces and hugging in the doorways. You'd have to go through at least 4 different hugs to get from the kitchen to the front room. Those relatives. And finally, after a big supper, 2 or 3 times around until we all got a turn at the table, there was quiet talk, and we were in 2s and 3s throughout the house. The relatives were not particular about beds, which was good, since there weren't any extras. So a few squeezed in with us, and the rest slept on the floor, some with their arms thrown over the closest person, or some with an arm across one person and a leg across another. It was different, going to sleep with all that new breathing in the house. See how everyone just jumped in the beds together? The relatives stayed for weeks and weeks. They helped us tend the garden, and they fixed any broken things that they could find. They ate up all of our strawberries and melons, then promised we could eat up all of their grapes and peaches when we came to Virginia. But But none of us thought about Virginia much. We were so busy hugging and eating and breathing together. Finally, after a long time, the relatives loaded up their ice chest and headed back to Virginia at 4 in the morning. We stood there in our pajamas and waved them off in the dark. We watched the relatives disappear down the road. Then we crawled back into our beds that felt too big and too quiet. We all fell asleep. And the relatives drove on all day long and into the night. While they traveled along, they looked at the strange houses and different mountains, and they thought about their dark purple grapes waiting at home in Virginia. But they thought about us too, missing them, and they missed us. And when they were finally home in Virginia, they crawled into their silent, soft beds and dreamed about the next summer. The end. So this book made me think about some things that I'm looking forward to doing when we're not in our houses anymore. So I'm looking forward to playing pickleball again with my friends and my boys and my husband. And I'm looking forward to seeing my neighbors across the street who we play games with. We play Phase 10 and Telestrations and all sorts of fun board games with. And most importantly, I'm looking to get back to school to see all of you guys. I miss all of you very much. So after you hear this book and after this video is over, I'd be curious to know some of the things that you guys are looking forward to. Maybe there's some relatives you haven't been able to see that you can't wait to see, or maybe you're looking forward to getting back to school. I'd love to hear all about it, but I still hope you're having fun at home, because I sure am having a good time at home too. But I miss you guys. Take care.